watch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. We'll start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into another edition of the JP Peterson Show. We thank you so much for joining us each and every day. We got breaking news here this morning, which, quite frankly, I think we had a hand in, to be quite honest. And we do have some interesting behind-the-scenes stories on what went down in the Florida State Athletic Director search, which is now ongoing. According to my sources, Vince Tyra has turned down, in air quotes, the FSU athletic director job. That leaves wide open now for some other, hopefully more qualified candidates. And the Seminoles, at least in my opinion, have dodged a bullet. Also of note, the University of Louisville president has resigned and is going to be the new president at Penn State University, which is interesting because Tyrae and her are somewhat at odds, and some of that spat has gone public. So now it appears that clears the way for Tyrae to stay at Louisville or perhaps go somewhere else. We shall see. But we'll get into that in just a little bit. Also, big show today coming up. Matt Thompson, head coach of your Jesuit Tigers, headed to the state championship game in a couple of weeks. Also, the Hillsborough County Coach of the Year will join us at 10:15, and we'll talk about his really, really good football team that could make some history in a couple of weeks and win that state championship. Also, we're going to talk about the name, image, and likeness and how that is affecting high school recruiting, which is a very interesting story. Chris Torello, who covers high school recruiting better than just about anybody in the marketplace, will join us at 10:30. He's going to weigh in on that as well as the USF Stadium. We got lots of news to get to today. Jane Castor has made some comments about the Rays Stadium, which, once again, heading right down the track that we told you about a month and a half ago, which is good. It's good news for all of us that are full season Rays fans. And we'll have a lot more. Leo Haggerty's going to join us as well to talk some Bucs. We got Gronk. Great stuff from Gronk yesterday. Mike Evans, the Walter Payton of the Year nominee for the Buccaneers. What a tremendous choice he was. I think it's the second year in a row he's gotten that award. Great role model. We were just talking about him earlier this week or last week. Nick Geddes is here with me, joining us. While I'm actually going to have, I believe, an allergy attack on the air.
The daily allergy attack is on the
kill my mic.
The daily allergy attack, JP, is in the air. But yeah, I'm doing good, and we got that breaking news right before we went live that Vince Tyra reportedly turned down the offer, and that's something that you did a lot of due diligence on and did a lot of digging and searching for this because you wanted the best for your alma mater, obviously, and want to think you had a hand in this a little bit.
I don't know if we had a hand in it. I think maybe we did because I wasn't the only one that was saying some negative things. There was a lot of fan backlash as well. But I do know that in the hierarchy of the FSU search committee and the administration, of which I do know a few people there, I know I wasn't the only one that contacted them and said, hey, let's take our time on this. Let's look a little bit deeper. Let's do a little bit more due diligence with some of the people in the athletic department. So I think it definitely was, whether it was myself or other people. And then, like I said, I was not the only one. There was definitely a reevaluation once his name was made public over the weekend. And it was interesting, as the media works, the old Friday afternoon news dump of Coburn saying that he's out in June, and then Tyrae's team surfacing over the weekend. It's very interesting. That's one of those things where if you want something to kind of go under the radar, you do the dump on the Friday afternoon for the weekend, and you avoid a lot of the main staffers, so to speak, in the news business as the weekend crew takes over and people's attentions go other places. So that was a little bit of a red flag right there. And then, the call started to be made not only to myself, but a lot of prominent people in the FSU media. And next thing you know, he is turning down the job. Now, whether he turned it down or FSU had a change of heart, it makes no difference. And I am not here to to bash Mr. Tyrae. I've obviously said some negative things about him because I was told by multiple sources the same thing. And again, I have nothing personal against the man whatsoever. In fact, I have a good friend who is a very good friend of his. And I feel bad that the man did not get the job for his sake. It's a lot of money. By all accounts, there are a lot of people that support him and like him and think he's a good man. And there are a lot of people on the other side as well. And all I wanted FSU to do was do their due diligence. And I think they did. And whether he turned it down or they had second thoughts does not matter. And I wish him the best. And I hope he has a long and fruitful career and does a hell of a job for Louisville or wherever he's going to be. Again, I have no personal animosity towards the man at all. My whole goal was to just make sure that FSU had vetted him thoroughly and knew exactly what they were getting. And whatever the case, whether he turned it down, which is, it's completely plausible. Florida State is not in the greatest position in the world. I mean, it's not like it's the best AD job. I think it's a fantastic AD job myself. I think there's a lot of room for growth. And I think there's an opportunity here with the branding and the facilities and everything that's already in place for somebody to come in and really hit a home run like Dan Radakovich is going to do in Miami. So I do think this is a good situation. I know there's some other candidates out there, and during the show, I'm going to try to get a little bit more information on who may be the leader in the clubhouse. Now it may be Alford, who is the new Boosters president that has done a really, really good job. By all accounts, I've heard great reviews about him. He was interviewed for the job, and I think that might be where they're going. And if that's where they go, I think it's a great choice.
That's actually right in line with ESPN's Adam Rittenberg, who just put out a tweet saying that was kind of their next pivot was him, and then Deputy AD at Alabama,
yes,
Jeff Purrington.
Yeah, that's Jeff Purrington's another guy that has been long rumored to be coming back to FSU, has really deep FSU connections, and obviously working at Alabama within the SEC. Is a very, very good choice. And this is what I was talking about, with Mr. Tyrae. He is not a guy that is well connected within the athletic world. He's only been an athletic director for 3 years. And, I'm not talking, I'm sure he's connected to a lot of people in his ACC gigs, but I'm talking about guys that have been doing this for 20 years. It's a whole different game when you come into it and you're working with a bunch of lower level staffers at other places. And then they grow up in stature and become ADs and commissioners, and you've known them for 20 years. So you have deep-seated, deep-rooted connections and trust. And these whole deals, when they go down for super conferences, and if FSU gets invited to the SEC or how that's all going to go down, that stuff's going to be happening in very, very dark rooms where they're not out in the sunshine. And you need people that are very well connected. And that's why that was my biggest concern with Vince. Doesn't have the experience, and that's the biggest problem. So however it went down, FSU is now back out, and I think they're going to end up with a better candidate. And I think that's the best news of all. All right, moving on. And as the show goes on, we're going to get some more information. Trust me, my phone's going crazy, and we'll get it to you. The Bucs talked. Let me get to the Rays here. It's more of a breaking news. We'll hear from Gronk and Evans and all the guys. Is a big game this week against the Buffalo Bills. One of the big hurdles on their schedule to run the table and get that number one seed. The Bills defense is tremendous. I mean, in every statistical regard, top 10 defense, really, really good. The Bucs are going to have their hands full this week defensively. Offensively, I think. Josh Allen, that offense has become very, very one-dimensional, and I think the Bucs defense has a real good opportunity this week to play well and help win this game. They can be the difference maker. Josh Allen, though, is a wild card. He's incredibly talented, and when he gets to the pocket, things happen. So it's going to be a test this week for what now turns out to be a pretty desperate Buffalo team. After losing to, they look to have the division in hand early on this season, but now that the Pats have rolled off, 7 in a row now? Is it 7 in a row? They're in desperate straits here now to even make the playoffs. So we'll talk Bucs as we go through the day. Charlie Frago published a story here and got some quotes from Mayor Castor after her meeting with the Rays, and she said, quote, let's say, because nothing ever moves as fast as we want it to, let's say the first of the year, Castor said when asked about a timeline for financial options to be presented to the Rays. The Rays have publicly promised to pay for half of a $700 million stadium. Of course, we reported that a month and a half ago. Now, Tampa Mayor Jane Castor says her staff is working with Hillsborough County and the Tampa Sports Authority to craft what her spokesman described as a workable financial package. Blah, 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 blah. There's been a great deal of activity recently, once again reported here about a month ago. And so there's kind of rumors and things apparently swirling. Major League Baseball still hasn't sufficient stamp of approval the Rays to split their season between Tampa and Montreal, as the team has proposed, Castor said. Now, that doesn't go, shouldn't be a throwaway line, 5 paragraphs down in the story. That's the headline. The team is serious about having spring training and the 40 or so home games at 27,000 seat ballpark at the western edge of Ybor City. Quote, it did come up that there were some concerns about the split season and that it wouldn't work, but there wasn't any talk about one city playing against the other, the Mayor said. Asked about might be 2 cities to get the best possible deal in one of them. As for public money, Castor said the only city general fund dollars were off limits for Tampa's contribution. Quote, nothing is off the table with the exception of the citizens footing the bill for the stadium. Everything is still possible as funding mechanism. As I said, I envision more than one proposal presented to the Rays, which means there's half season and full season. Castor said she received very little pushback from Tampa residents about the split season concept. Really? The vast majority of Tampa residents who have bent her ear want the team to stay in the region, she said. That's the money line right there. Castor said she received very little pushback from Tampa residents about the split season concept. I can tell you that's about to change, Mayor, in a very, very real way. And hopefully we'll be able to announce some things. As you know, the law offices of Christopher Palermo are sponsor here, and Christopher is also the man behind the ads you've seen that are basically very anti-sister city plan. And that while that may be true, Castor hasn't heard very little pushback, which if she hasn't heard very little pushback from Tampa residents, that's tone deaf. That's completely 100% tone deaf. I mean, and that just goes to show you people out there, you better make her hear it. You better get on the phone and light up that line and hear from you guys, you fans. And we're going to give out the numbers and the emails so you can, quote, bend her ear and give her a little pushback on the split season concept. That is wow. That's a wow to me. I mean, come on, seriously? You know why? Because this is it. The Rays are very persuasive, very, very persuasive, but that's all right. We've got time. As we told you, these things were going down the track, and if they're talking about announcing something within the next month, it is absolutely urgent now that the fans speak up and let her know in no uncertain terms that this is the split season plan is not something palatable to the fans. This whole idea of take a half season or nothing is complete bullcrap, and we need to make sure that she knows that. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Matt Thompson, the Jesuit head coach of their fine football team, will join us. We're going to talk about his team headed for the state title, and also name, image, and likeness. How is that changing high school recruiting? How is the transfer portal changing high school recruiting? Very interesting discussion coming up with a man who knows more than just about anybody about it, Matt Thompson of Jesuit. Stay with us. Who wants free mobile service? I do. And you can get 30 gigs a month from companies like AT&T Service, T-Mobile. Great service. Keep your number and get free mobile service. It's part of the emergency broadband benefit from the stimulus bill. 87% of America qualifies. So if you think you make too much money or whatever, Just go to jpcares.info and find out. It'll take you a few minutes. jpcares.info to find out if you qualify for free cell service. Get it now before it's all used up. Is your health care way too expensive? Well, with the new Biden administration, health care laws have changed dramatically. Now you can get health care insurance through the Affordable Care Act for little or no cost to you. In fact, with the new laws, 90% of Americans qualify for reduced or free health care. Great plans like Florida Blue. That's my carrier. Absolutely love them. I'm paying $600 less after making the call. 877-652-0244. The representative will walk you through the whole process. Just get some basic information on your income, number of kids, and then they'll find a plan that best fits your needs. They know all the intricacies of these new laws. They will do all the work. You save tons of money. This opportunity will not last long, and you'll have to wait till 2022 to get the deal. So give them a call. It's real health insurance, free doctor visits, free blood work, no deductibles. 877-652-0244. 877-652-0244. Are you in the market for a refinance or looking for a new home? You've got to call my man, Fitz the Mortgage Guy, Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. I have got literally a notebook here of testimonials on what a great job he's done for so many of our listeners. Scott saved me $1,200 up front. Scott paid for my appraisal. Scott got my PMI taken off. Scott helped me pay off my car. Well, he didn't give him money, but he refinanced everything for these folks and showed them a great strategy to get rid of a lot of their debt. He's not just a mortgage broker. He's like a financial counselor, and he's passionate to get you the lowest rate and keep you from lemon.com.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by proud Jesuit alumni, Christopher Palermo. Go to PalermoPA.com, and you will get him, and he will help you fight for you against your homeowner's insurance company. It's probably going to lowball you with any offer that you have. Any storm damage, stucco damage, anything that has happened to your home, he will help you out. Construction issues, he'll do that as well, PalermoPA.com. All right, speaking of Jesuit, let's talk to the man, head coach Matt Thompson, the newly anointed coach of the year. Coach, congratulations on your win, headed to the state championship and being named coach of the year.
Oh, well, thanks, JP. It's an honor, and yes, it's just been an awesome week so far.
Yeah, I bet it has. Take me back to the Northwestern game. That was kind of a beatdown, Coach. I mean, you pump your chest out a little bit. It's a great moment. Yeah, there. I know the play. I wish I could have been there, but I heard the place was jumping. It was packed, and your guys just a tremendous performance. Tell me about the game.
Yeah, well, if you want to take a look at it, somebody put a YouTube video. They did a little highlight of it. It's actually pretty good, so you can look that up. But yeah, I mean, we looked at the film, and the first thing we did was watch 2 years ago when we got thumped down there, and we just looked at it and just told the kids how much better we are than that team 2 years ago, and then we started watching them this year, and they definitely look beatable. I didn't think we were gonna put a whooping on them like we did. But that whole week, the kids were so focused. It was such a pleasure to coach. I mean, it was intense at practice. I mean, we're having, because, these kids have been together for so long, and if they make a mistake and, I have AJ Cottrell just getting into it with the other linebacker just because he lined up wrong or did something. So I got safeties getting fights at corners, and it was an intense week of practice. It was great.
That's awesome.
And, and then that Friday when we had our meetings, before the game, it was just absolute intensity in the rooms, and it was just.
You could feel it.
Awesome feeling. So
you could feel it coming. And coaches know when their teams are ready to play, and it's pretty historic. And it's been a while since we've had a state champion in Hillsborough County. I know that Tampa Bay Tech and Berkeley Prep are on their way as well. Just talk about what's going on in Hillsborough County now, and it seems like it's been quite some time, and we've had a lot of successful teams. Obviously, Armwood and you guys have been knocking on the door for a long time. So just talk about what's going on with you and some of these other teams as well.
Well, I just think that starting from the little leagues, I think that little leagues like the West Chase Colts, the Brandon Bears, some of the South Tampa teams, and I think a better quality of coaching staffs have gone in there and really done well. I know, like the West Chase Colts just this past weekend won the national championship, whatever that is. But it's just it just filters on into the high school realm, and then with coaching staffs, that's the key. The longevity of the coaching staffs, making sure you have the same guys and you're doing the same things over and over. So the kids get used to your style. I know Tech does. I know Berkeley has a great coaching staff with Dominic, and Jason does a great job over at Tampa Bay Tech. And they've been having a great team in the last few years and knocking on their door also. So it's just awesome seeing the caliber of football go up in Hillsborough County.
Coach Matt Thompson joining us here from Jesuit. What does it mean for your guys to kind of get over the hump and get to the championship game?
Oh man, I can't. For them, for me, for the school, it's just when I took the job here, I was going through an interview process, and Father Hermes, our president, actually asked, what's my goal? And I told him, I wanted, Jesuit to be, talked about in the same realm as St. Thomas Aquinas, the Jacksonville Bulls, and any of the other nationally ranked teams. And, he thought that was a great plan and a great goal. He even told me recently he wasn't sure that, that we could get there. I have high aspirations, but, it's come through, and we are nationally ranked now, and hopefully people are talking about us as in regards to St. Thomas Aquinas or Northwestern or any of the other powerhouses around the state and hopefully around the country soon. So it's just been a great ride right now. So.
Well, state semifinal 5 of the past 6 years, including the last 3, and now a chance to be the first state champion in 10 years from Hillsborough County, along with the other 2 teams. It's been, I think, since 10 years since we've had 3 teams getting to the finals. So this is a banner year, no doubt about it. And a lot of talent on your team. Talk to me a little bit about Jacqueline Smith. What did he run for, 220? Last week?
227.
Woo.
227.
Wow.
And he had a 65-yarder called back. So just imagine that.
Wow, it could have been a 300 game. Wow. See, I did the math there.
Yeah. You give him a little seam, and he's a special runner. He isn't the biggest guy in the world, but he is a thick kid. He's 195 pounds, and but he's only about 5'8", and he's got a little motor. So he's absolutely special. I was actually just talking to some college coaches about him. I'm just I can't stretch him out, but I'm telling you what, he's got a big old heart. So
I like those little guys, man. They're hard to find.
Yeah.
They're hard to find when they come popping through there. How tall is he? Like, looks like I was watching the highlights. What, 5'7", 5'8"?
Yeah, 5'7", 5'. I'll give him 5'8". He's 5'7", 5'8".
Hey, Barry Sanders was 5'7". Who cares, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there you go.
Obviously, we've talked about Troy Bowles, Coach Bowles' son. He's been tremendous with you, for you, and he's being recruited by everybody. So give some shout outs to all the players you want to talk about. I always like to give you a chance to do that. I know you can't mention them all, but do your best.
Yeah. One of the guys that's kind of overshadowed a little bit, and we got a lot.
Yeah.
Wayne Quinn, he plays opposite of Troy.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Troy gets all the accolades and everything, but heck, Wayne Quinn is, he's a 4-5 kid coming off the edge. He plays the other outside linebacker.
Wow.
He had 3 sacks the other night against Northwestern, a fumble recovery. He's active all over the place. AJ Cottrell, I can't say enough about our middle linebacker. For 3 years, he's up around 175, 200 tackles a year. I mean, he's just productive. He's just somebody who gets around the ball. And then finally, our offensive line. We lost a big one at the beginning of the season. Our left tackle, we lost in a workout incident. He tore his ACL, and we had a kid that played D line that actually went to left tackle to take his spot, and that hurt us a little bit. But losing Wesley Shaw, but all the other guys, Jonah Tran, Traquan Alexander, our short little tree stump center, Charles McLeod, and it's just Guzzy Okiki, a big old right tackle that didn't get to play a lot last year, just came through and got better and better each week.
Yep.
Man, there's just everybody, from our kicking, our kicker, from it's amazing. So
who do you got? Do you know who you're playing yet in the final?
Yeah, we got Pensacola Pine Forest.
Pine Forest, always a good program. You know anything about them?
Yeah,
I bet you do now.
Just on film, they're a triple option team.
Uh-oh.
So, well, when I was at Armwood, I defended. We ran the triple for 20 years while I was there. So, or at least 15.
Well, then you would know how to stop it. Yeah, that's good. That's awesome. Yeah. Hey, Coach, I wanted to talk a little bit about, before we get off, how NIL is affecting high school recruiting, name, image, and likeness. Have it on very, very good authority that Travis Hunter, FSU's number one recruit in the nation, went up to Georgia a few weeks ago to take a visit up there, and they're trying to steal him away, and he got offered $250,000 a year in a name, image, and likeness. I mean, what is this? What is this doing to you now? I mean, what the heck's going on? How is this affecting high school recruiting?
Well, you know what? And I've talked to just about every one of the coaches, and when the NIL stuff came out, even the portal stuff, and I understand, that it's for the kids' benefit and everything. I totally understand it, but I don't think it was. I think it was. They shot it out from the hip. They didn't really think of the ramifications that it's going to do to other schools.
Yep.
And the rich are going to get richer. Absolutely. But schools like let's say schools like Duke, Vanderbilt, Stanford, Harvard, Notre Dame. With Jim Kelly leaving.
Yeah.
He sees it right on the wall. Those schools, you can lose kids to the portal, but you can't gain any because they can't get through the admissions.
That's right. And, that's right.
So, schools like Toledo, they got a great fan base, I'm sure, but they don't have the resource. They don't have the alumni base like Michigan or Ohio State or, so I don't know. It's
yeah, I can see the problem.
Yeah.
And also, if you do have a rich alumnus, maybe if you're at an Oklahoma State or an Oregon, we've seen it, even in the old days with Phil Knight and T. Boone Pickens, those programs used to be doormats until they started pumping a lot of money into them, and now they can do it over the table, so to speak. So, it could work a lot of different ways. But I know the transfer portal, especially, has that taken the focus off of high school kids, you think?
Yes.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, I mean, you could say it.
It absolutely is. I mean, the schools that normally you have, very seldom do you have 5-star or 4-star guys. I mean, you have one or two, if you're lucky, you have one or two a year, or, one or two every, 3 years. But, the 1, 2, 3-star guys, those are the guys that you're trying to really, get into the next level of playing.
Right.
And with the portal situation, it's just,
the college coaches are kind of sitting back and waiting for the portal guys.
Yeah.
And then the high school guys are kind of an afterthought. And so it puts a lot of these kids that would normally be getting scholarships in kind of limbo. And so if you were going to fix it, Coach, from your standpoint, would you limit the amount of transfers a team can take? Would that help? Or are there any ideas you could throw out just from where you're sitting in a very knowledgeable spot that would be best for the kids, best for the programs? What are your thoughts?
Well, I got one idea.
Okay.
And, it might be controversial and it might need some, but I think there should be a non-portal clause in when they sign the scholarship. Now, if you don't have to sign it,
right?
But then the school doesn't have to give you a scholarship, because let's say that you are a 2-star kid, or they're taking a chance on you. They think that you could develop into a player.
Right.
And then the school puts in 2 years, this coaching staff puts in 2 years of developing you. And then you go on to Alabama, or you go to Clemson, or you go to, one of the big schools. And after, these coaches just put 2 years into you.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about fairness for the kids, but gosh, it's got to be fairness for the coaches and fairness to the schools too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and then if you get the coaching staff gets a 4 or 5-star guy that wants to go to the school, they don't have to sign the non-portal agreement or whatever.
Yeah.
And, so now, and the coaches understand that. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good idea. It's a little bit more transparent on both ends too. And I think if you limited the portal intake, then that would put focus back on high school recruiting as well. If you can only take 4 or 5 guys,
absolutely.
Because I know some coaches are waiting to get 10, 12, 15 guys because they got to win right away or they're going to lose their jobs. So I get it from their standpoint. So again, college football is such a mess right now. They need a czar. They need to get it under one umbrella, fix all the realignment, and fix the recruiting and the NIL and all this stuff. No better time to do it than right now. And hopefully that will happen.
They need to do something, or it's getting out of control right now.
Yeah, it really is.
And, it could ruin it. So
yeah. Well, listen, Coach. Congratulations again. Awesome season that you're having. I've had some requests to have your quarterback on next week. His girlfriend's doing some lobbying to get him some press. So I get a lot of folks reaching out. So we're going to get him on the show next week. So great time for Jesuit. Congratulations to you, and go get that state title. Thanks, Matt.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, JP.
All right, partner. Appreciate it. All right, quick break. When we come back, Chris Torello is going to join us. Nobody covers high school recruiting better than this man. Also, I'm sure he has some thoughts on the USF on-campus stadium and the Rays as well. So stay with us. Minute break. Chris Torello next. JP here for Roof Max. And if you own a home or business with an asphalt shingle roof, listen up. Shingles are made from a petrochemical, just like the roads. So they get old, get brittle, and have to be replaced for tens of thousands of dollars. But not anymore. Remember this name, Roof Max. They have created a natural bio oil that is professionally sprayed on a dried out roof. It doesn't clean it, coat it, or seal it. It actually penetrates the shingle and brings back its bendability and weatherproofing properties to almost new. So the question is, does it work? Yeah, the research was done by Ohio State University independently, and it's clinically proven to work. It's guaranteed for up to 15 years. Now, one of the sharks on Shark Tank invested in this, so it's great, and they've successfully rejuvenated tens of thousands of roofs. So yes, it worked. So don't shell out $20,000 for a new roof. Call Roof Max at 352-559-9981 or go to roofmaxnorthflorida.com. That's 352-559-9981. Get it done for a fraction of the price of a new roof, guaranteed. Are you you selling your home or refinancing? JP here for Greenleaf Title. You choose the title company, not the realtor, and it makes a difference. You want a reputable company that will make sure your title is safe and secure. There are a lot of scammers out there right now. So go with a trusted company like Greenleaf Title. Plus, they will close anywhere, folks, and they will send a limo to pick you up to come to the closing. Yep, the great JP Limo Closing is back. All you got to do is give them a call at 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. We'll set up a limo for you. I'll come pick you up. Heck, we even picked up one couple, took them to Black Rock Restaurant, one of our favorite advertisers, and then to the closing. That's how they do it at Greenleaf Title. Great service. We'll close anywhere. The lowest fees in the business. 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. That's greenleaftitle.com. Who wants free mobile service? I do, and you can get 30 gigs a month from companies like AT&T Service, T-Mobile. Great service. Keep your number and get free mobile service. It's part of the emergency broadband benefit from the stimulus bill. 87% of America qualifies. So if you think you make too much money or whatever, just go to jpcares.info and find out. It'll take you a few minutes. Staffed, and yes, just a short drive from downtown Tampa or wherever you're coming from, right there on Ulmerton Road. Avoid the madness at the malls, and whether you're a first-time buyer or looking for that 10-carat custom design, they have it all. 9 jewelers in-house ready to make your dreams come true. Even layaways, 100% interest-free financing up to 5 years. Shop now for your best selection at the Gold and Diamond Source and make your lady wonderfully happy like Nick did. That's absolutely. Shop anytime online at thegoldanddiamond.com.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, presented by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. And we will be chatting with him tomorrow about the Rays situation in terms of the stadium in downtown. Joining us now is Chris Torello, Spectrum Sports 360, Mr. High School Football. And, sir, how are you?
Doing well, man. Just kind of gearing up
for
next week.
Before we get going, I gotta tell the folks out there, I was watching your weekend sportscast, and I had to text you immediately afterwards. That is the best sportscast I think I've seen on local TV in a long time. I mean, the fact you guys get a half hour to do it is certainly awesome. But you hit all the local stuff. You know your stuff. You don't have to script out every one of your highlights. You ad-lib it because you know it. And your energy, your knowledge, phenomenal, bro. Phenomenal. Really good stuff. Like the old days.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's fun. It's fun when it's fun when you're able to just go out there and have fun. So we love what we do, and we're glad we can hit everything. It's not just a 2-minute thing. So we appreciate that.
You and your producers, everybody over there at Spectrum Sports 360, throw that one in the Edward R. Murrow AP Emmy Award submission list, because that was you had the high school football, you had college football, you had everything, man. You freaking nailed it. So well done. Lots of news out there. Let's start with some high school football. We got 3 teams in Hillsborough going to the state championship. We just talked to Matt Thompson. So maybe you could throw some stuff out there about Tampa Bay Tech and Berkeley. Both of those teams looked absolutely phenomenal on their way, and hopefully maybe 2, maybe 3 state titles for Hillsborough County, first time in 10 years.
Yeah, look, I think it's so cool that the 813 representing like that. And look, Jesuit, I know you had Matt Thompson on, and he just won the Turner Award, and he's one of the best coaches in the state. So I'm really happy because they had been there 6 of the last 7 years. They never got to that final. So for them to finally break through and and be able to kind of, see that. I'm happy for them. I'm happy for Dom Sayo. Who, he took that 1992 Jesuit team to the state runner-up, and so for him to finally break through with Berkeley Prep, he's got some guys, man. He's got some dudes. Xavier Townsend's going to Iowa State. They've got some guys who are going to be going to Florida, Notre Dame after next year. So, it's really nice to see that kind of balanced offense. They can hit you a lot of different ways. Very good defense. They're playing Chaminade Madonna, I believe, Friday night. And it's all, if you're a Spectrum customer, it's free. Just go onto our website and you'll find it. And, it's free for everybody to watch.
Awesome.
So I'm really excited about Berkeley Prep. Tampa Bay Tech, my God, the job that they've done over there. Greg Gaines, another Iowa State kid.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's crazy about Tampa Bay Tech is they don't have all of these big-time D1 players. They have just it's all about, the team is better than the sum of the parts. They really have a bunch of guys that work together as one. They're not overly athletic in some spots, but they just do everything so well. They got a kid, I think he's a senior. He's got like 16 and a half sacks, and he doesn't have a major D1 offer. So, they've got some kids that are just really stepping up. So Tampa Bay Tech's been a joy to watch this year. For them to knock off Lake Gibson, who knocked off Edgewater, that says a lot about the program they've got going over there.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, and you can get it all on Spectrum Sports 360. All the games will be on there. Are you guys going to have all the games, or where are the actual games going to be on Spectrum Sports, or is that?
Yeah, so you go to FHSA.com, and then
right.
there's a live feed, and it's for Spectrum customers. It's all free.
Nice.
We did that for the volleyball championships. We do that for basketball as well. So it's great. But we do it. But I mean, it's a full production. 5 cameras.
Yeah.
We're going to be in Tallahassee and the next week it's down in Fort Lauderdale. So we're all over. It's great. It's going to be a lot of fun, and you will not see like crappy one camera quality. You're going to see full production, full value. It's going to be like ESPN Plus, only I think with a lot more care.
Beautiful.
So that's what you'll see.
All right, cannot wait. All right, let's move on to USF and Will Weatherford and the power to be there. This ain't a joke anymore. No joke. This is happening. And I've been very much against it. Frankly, because I think it would be foolish to spend the money, but I'm completely flipped now because after going to a couple games this year, what they're doing ain't working. It's just not, and they need to do something, change something, and make it a collegiate atmosphere because it's anything but at Raymond James Stadium. I'm down. I'm for it. It ain't my money, so let's go.
Yeah, right.
Let's go. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a little different than the Rays, right? I
right,
think it'll actually be, all this funding will go through the proper channels. But I think, look, I think you go back to the Tulsa game where they had an 11-point lead and the team wasn't playing great. And then down the stretch, you're sitting there thinking, how the hell is there 22,000 here? There's not. And, I put that on Twitter and a bunch of people start messaging me saying, we're in the West Club, we're inside. And I'm like, why are you inside? Your team is fighting. Why are you? And I get it. No, but I get it.
It's hot.
It's an NFL stadium.
Yep.
You have NFL amenities. Yes, it's hot. But if you go to the bounce house, if you go to Alabama, no one's in like this private club in the fourth quarter.
Right.
They are watching the game. They are intense. And especially in a close game. So they need that atmosphere. They need to get that on-campus presence. Now, look, everyone's kind of looked at me and said, well, what, you kind of were against it too. I said, I was against it because they needed the IPF first, which is going to be built, and they are going to have that up by the fall. So now it's game on.
Yeah.
And Will Weatherford is a champion of USF, and so is Michael Kelly and Jeff Scott. So they need that atmosphere. They're very aggressive. They could get in by 2026. And they're going to have major plans probably by the summer. So they're going full tilt here, and they need to. They need to get it. I was at the big house, the bounce house, for the USF UCF game. And look, it's not impressive. It's not a big stadium, but it's fun.
Yeah.
It's kind of that old saying that, the house doesn't make the home, the people inside it do. And UCF's got a lot of crazy fans. They fill that place. So that's what you need. You need that atmosphere on Saturday. It felt like a college stadium. You know it from FSU. You know it from Gainesville. So, USF, you get that campus stadium, you're going to have 40,000 people in there.
Hey, Chris, it's Nick here, actually. And I am a UCF alum, and I see all the
Yeah,
time
I
on
know, Nick. I know, Nick. Yeah.
I see all the time on
See
Twitter.
that freaking sweatshirt on your live stream. Yeah, we've all seen it. So.
I see all the time the run-ins you have on Twitter with the Mafia, and I know they could be pretty intense. But now they're coming to play Florida. If they beat Florida in the Gasparilla Bowl, are you prepared for what you're going to have to deal with on Twitter?
Well, I already said they're going to beat Florida. I'm a very fair person. I think they're going to beat Florida. So, I think everyone thinks that I'm against UCF or I went on with the Sons of UCF, and they tried to get me into a corner. And I'm like, boys, you think you're the Mafia. I'm the Mafia. So, you can't come at me with anything. So, look, you think I think UCF beats Florida by 10, maybe more. Because they're better run right now. They've got a better head coach in Gus Malzahn. They've got a better system. So I think UCF wins that game. But don't be shocked. Now, look, I don't want to hear it from Florida fans that, it's like Auburn in 17. We didn't have any of our players. So, no, if you beat an SEC team, you beat an SEC team. There's no question there. So, no, look, UCF, they've done a great thing. They're going to the Big 12. No one can take that away from them. I just wish UCF would worry about UCF and USF would worry about USF because they're probably not going to be playing each other for much longer.
Oh, that would suck. That if when they go into the Big 12, they still need to play. It's one of the things I hate about realignment. No. You got to keep the rivalries, man. The regional rivalries. Florida State should always be playing Florida and Miami. I also think if you're going to fill up these non-conference games with freaking Jacksonville State, why not play FAU? Why not play FIU? Why not play USF, UC? I mean, we should have our legislators who had to eventually legislate Florida State playing should also be legislating that these other teams play because the stadiums fill up. I know the big schools don't want to do it because you're giving help to the little schools. Tough crap. You know what? It's what the fans want. They need to do it. Just if we have to codify it in legislation, then let's do it.
No, I agree with. I don't know if it needs to go to the legislature because I'm not sure government gets anything right. But I will say, if you actually had a situation where especially when it comes to sports, like please butt out. But when it comes to if you could make an agreement where now look, USF's going to play Miami,
right?
You can laugh at 2-for-1, but at least they're going to play them.
Yep.
You can laugh at Gators 2-for-1. I believe UCF actually had to suck up a 2-for-1 after years of saying they never would. They'll probably say, well, this one counts as 2-2 because it's in Tampa.
Whatever.
But it's not. The math doesn't work that way, Nick, just so you know. But I think when it comes to USF, UCF playing the Florida States, the Gators, the Miamis, like you said, FAU, you could basically make a schedule where none of them have to leave the state for the month of September.
Exactly.
It could be a fun state series.
Run it right
and
around
you don't have
robin.
to worry about playing these teams.
Yeah.
Be fun. Be prepared. You'd be prepared for this. You'd be prepared for your conference.
Yeah, and besides that, I mean, these are all state-funded universities who need to sell tickets and help out. And what would sell more tickets than even a FIU, FSU, where just as long as they're playing, FSU should go down there every once in a while or whatever. It just needs to be playing. But I want to get to some other stuff with you as well.
I agree.
The Rays situation. Mayor Castor said yesterday that she hasn't. I can't believe she actually said this. That she hasn't heard, basically saying she hasn't heard much consternation about the sister city plan from the fans. Is she tone deaf? Does she really think that the fans are for this sister city thing? This is ridiculous.
I think that she's trying to walk a fine line, and she doesn't. She's a very good representative for the area and for the city. And I think for my thing would probably be it's a very political fine line she's walking where she's trying to appease. Look, a lot of businesses are going to get involved. We know that. So they have the clout, I think, to maybe pull this off. I don't think it should happen. I think what she's trying to walk a fine line where she can keep with the negotiating table. And because she also said, look, MLB hasn't signed off on this.
Damn right they haven't.
The players union will
never sign off on it.
Will never sign off on this. So they will go into another lockout over that. I mean, they will not do it.
Yeah.
Like, who the hell wants to try and figure out how does the paycheck work? How you're filing you're filing all different types of tax forms.
Mm-hmm.
No player wants to go through that. So I think this is all a ploy to put Montreal against Tampa Bay. And look, I think Jane Castor believes if she gets them to the negotiating table and they can figure something out, who knows? 700 can turn into $1 billion.
I can tell you that
if you get to $1 billion,
I can tell you this. If she hasn't heard from the fan base that they hate the Sister City plan, she will in the next 2 weeks. Trust me on that. Because we're going to we're going to put out the number for the mayor's office and the emails and start filling it up. She will hear plenty, and she will hear from business leaders. We've already got a group of them that are getting together, and we're going. Hopefully, you will be at the press conference, and we'll make sure that she knows that the local business leaders and the fans do not want them spending. I don't want them spending tax money for a half season. I think it's foolish. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's a waste of money. I think it's a waste of money, and any politician that supports that is going to pay at the ballot box. I guarantee it. No fans want to spend $350 million, even if it's quote not public money. There's public money. We all know how it works. So that message needs to get through. So I hope you'll be at the press conference.
Because if they tell you, oh, you're not paying for it in terms of the construction, but you're going to pay for it with parking, you're going to pay for it with tickets, you're going to pay for it with concessions, and they'll make their money back off the public.
Yep.
So they don't care how they get it. But I think what annoys me is that they keep persisting on this idea that it's going to happen. It's not going to happen. I think everyone knows it's not. And at the end of the day, it's two cities pitting against each other. I still don't think Montreal is going to put anything up, just from who I've talked with.
No.
But,
there's no momentum up there.
There's nothing. I mean, it's a nice little idea for them, but you also, I think we've talked about this before. Go right up to Quebec. They have a beautiful NHL-sized hockey arena, and the only people playing in it are 12 years old right now. So but seriously, no one is building something just to let it sit empty. Look at the Olympics.
Yep.
You do it for 3 weeks, and then they just sit there. So no one wants to do it. I think it's going to have to go from 700 to at least $1 billion. You need a roof. You cannot tell me that anyone is going to sit outside on a June day. Forget July, August, September. And I just think if they want to pursue this idea, I think it's crazy. But I mean, maybe the Rays in their mind think, well, you all thought the closer was crazy. You all thought the shift was crazy.
He's always the smartest guy in the room. He's always got to be the smartest. That's a huge part of this is Sternberg's ego. Yeah. He wants to be the first owner to do a sister city plan. And they're already talking about doing it with Cleveland and Pittsburgh. The Major League Players Association is like, this ain't freaking happening. No freaking way. Not happening.
No.
All right, my brother.
Fans would never allow it.
Exactly.
You want the Cubs and the White Sox to share a team? Yeah, okay. That'd be funny. Go to Chicago and see how that works out. They can't even figure out their hot dogs. My God.
Chris Torello, you're the best, my friend. I wish we had more time. We got to roll. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. And I love the fact that you are opinionated and you're willing to stick your neck out there. So many will not. And I appreciate that you do that. And you'll come on here and say stuff. I love you, brother. Thanks, man.
I love you too, guys.
Thanks,
Take
buddy.
care.
All right. The great Chris Torello there. Spectrum Sports 360. Follow them. Watch them every night, 10:30. And get Spectrum. I mean, stop fooling around with all your freaking cable cutting. It's an extra $20 a month. Think about it. With what you're paying for your Wi-Fi and your YouTube Live, you're about $130 a month anyway. I pay like $160 for Spectrum. Just spend the extra money. You get your Rays, you get your Lightning, you get your Spectrum Sports 360,
and you get to see Torello every day.
You get to see Torello.
But you know what though? His UCF takes are off. They're off. They're off.
I love it. That's why we're here. All right. Leo Haggerty's coming up next. We're ran a little long. Sorry, Leo. We'll get him on. Quick break, 3 minutes, and we'll talk some. Who wants free mobile service? I do, and you can get 30 gigs a month from companies like AT&T Service, T-Mobile. Great service. Keep your number and get free mobile service. It's part of the emergency broadband benefit from the stimulus bill. 87% of America qualifies. So if you think you make too much money or whatever, just go to jpcares.info and find out. It'll take you a few minutes. jpcares.info to find out if you qualify for free cell service. Get it now before it's all used up. JP, Santa, and young St. Nick get us right over here. My partner for the Gold Diamond Source. You hear that? Christmas music. It's Christmas time. You just popped a question to your lady from the Golden Diamond Source diamond that you got.
Yes, I did. The Golden Diamond Source, the best place to go get your diamond for an engagement. They helped me out so much. They were so courteous to me for somebody who was so nervous. And it's Christmas time, like you said. If you're thinking about popping the question, you need to go to the Golden Diamond Source.
It's the Jewelry Supercenter, fully stocked, fully staffed, and yes, just a short drive from downtown Tampa or wherever you're coming from, right there on Ulmerton Road. Avoid the mad
with their burgundy mushrooms.
Oh, I love the mushrooms.
It's delicious.
So good. Of course, you get the steak on a 755-degree stone. You cook it right there in the garlic butter, the casino butter. It's fillets. You can do your shrimp on it, your chicken. It's unlike any other place. It's the Black Rock Bar and Grill. You got to go. It's a new menu. Tell them JP sent you. Brandon and Carrollwood. Get to the Black Rock.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock.
This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, presented by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. You can find him at palermopa.com. Breaking news at the top of the show, Vince Tyra is turning down the FSU job, wink, wink. However it happened, FSU may have come to their senses, but whatever. It's good for both parties. The University of Louisville president is leaving. That was one of his big issues, so maybe he can stay there and work his magic at the University of Louisville. But Florida State's going to go in a different direction, and I think they've dodged a bullet. More on that in the 11 o'clock hour. We're joining us now, Leo Haggerty. Thank you for your patience, my friend. I'm sorry we ran over a little bit with Chris Torello. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm fine. Just sitting out here at the gate at $1, getting ready to go in to watch my 20 minutes of practice.
There you go. And report back on who's practicing and who's walking around and who's not. Actually, today's a full practice, right? So we'll get some who are the guys that are kind of on the bubble to play this week? I'm trying to run through my head. Jamel Dean, I know, got nicked up. Carlton Davis got nicked up. What do you think?
Richard Sherman may be on that list.
Oh.
It's interesting because I don't know if you heard, but Coach Arians talked about they're going to work him out at safety as well. That's got to tell you how banged up that secondary is. They're being held together with a Band-Aid and toothpaste, and that's not good.
I think it's a great move, too. Remember, Ronde Barber moved to safety in his latter years and played very well. You know, and Richard's a guy who likes to play with his eyes on the quarterback anyway. That could be a very interesting experiment because, quite frankly, his man-to-man skills are waning, to say the least.
Oh, yeah, and you know, two words come to mind. Ronnie Lott, same size corner, moved to safety, and boy, he went to there like a duck in water. Bingo, hold your cards.
Yeah. So, you know, I think it's been an interesting week for the Buccaneers. Tom Brady wins Sportsman of the Year from Sports Illustrated, well-deserved. I'm shocked, though, honestly. Gronk, not that he didn't deserve it. I just, you know, those awards typically are used more for, seems like, political reasons these days. But that it was well-deserved. And Mike Evans, Man of the Year. So you've had some interesting interviews out there this week and Gronk giving out all the awards as well.
Absolutely, it's going to be an interesting week, especially tomorrow when we get a chance to talk to Coach Arians again. The one thing I want to ask him football-wise, JP, is they are running that Z screen to Godwin like it's a trick play,
right?
And to do that, you got to have two things. You got to have a receiver willing to catch the ball, knowing he may get hit right away. And you got to have wideouts who are willing to block. That's amazing that the Bucs have both of them.
Yeah. Well, that's what's great about them. We've been singing the praises of Godwin and Evans and Gronk all week long because they're such selfless players. When they're asked to block, they do it. And Godwin does it as good as any receiver in the game. And he runs like a running back. And if you want to give him 15 carries, which is basically what they did last week, he's got the girth and the physical ability to do it. I mean, he's a strong, bad man, and he showed it last week. That guy can play.
He's a Jersey guy, JP, and you know those guys, they have meals for lunch and they have bullets for dinner. So he's that kind of guy. And I'll tell you what.
Well, technically he's a Delaware guy, but I know where you're going. Yeah. I know where you're going with that.
Hey, Delaware is Southern Philly. Let's be honest.
I know what you're saying.
Hey,
I got you.
You've been to the Army-Navy game long enough. You know what Delaware is.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. 100%.
But, I was really critical of Pewter Report at the beginning of the year because they did an expose on who's better, Godwin or Evans.
Yeah.
Man, what a mistake. They're not Batman and Robin. They're the Avengers. They're on an equal footing, and these guys can play.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes we do that, right? Like, who's better? Like, well, you know what? They complement. You're right. They complement each other perfectly. And I know what the other thing they do is they raise each other's games. I think there's no question. I think, when you got AB coming in the room and Godwin and Evans, these are all, two of them I think are shoe-in Hall of Famers. And if Godwin continues on his trajectory, he is too. And I think Godwin's the best of all three. I think he's the most complete of all three of them. They just rate, iron sharpens iron, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I'll tell you what, they each set the bar higher for each other. Think about this now. Neither one of them had a touchdown last week. Evans had 99 yards. Godwin had 148, I think it was. Yep. And all that does is put 87 in the middle of the field, wide ass open.
Yep.
And he took advantage of it.
Or 7 or 84. I mean, it's just, and when AB gets back, brother, forget about it.
Oh. And you know what, JP? I don't think we're giving Leonard Fournette enough credit for becoming a really good receiver.
Yep.
Now, he drops one pass every game. So if I'm Brady, I'm throwing the first one at his feet to get that out of the way. But, he has really become the complete back that everybody thought he was going to be coming out of LSU to Jacksonville.
He really has. And they needed him last week because Rojo was down. Not good. Leo Haggerty joining us here, editor of ItsSportsMagazine. And speaking of AB, you kind of stuck your neck out last week, and I'm proud of you, partner. I'm proud of you. You wrote an article from the player's perspective about vaccines. How dare you? And I thought you made a lot of great points in that. Encapsulate that for our audience.
Well, JP, thank you for bringing that up. But again, everybody's talking about this from their point of view. And again, as a 68-year-old media member, former player in that, my perspective is a lot different than a 23-year-old NFL player. I think players are asking themselves these three questions. Has anybody in the NFL died from COVID? No. Has anybody in the NFL got deathly sick from COVID? No. Has anybody in the NFL got symptoms worse than the flu from COVID? No. You're asking these guys not to put stuff in their bodies for years, and now you're telling them to put stuff in that the data on it is maybe like 3-4 months old. In fact, look at what's going on with Omicron right now. Yeah. Pfizer comes out and says, we have our vaccine takes care of Omicron. But I don't know how they would pick that out. Omicron's only been around for 3 weeks. So, yeah, it's amazing.
Has it? Maybe it's been around for longer. How do you know you didn't make it?
Exactly.
But there is data out there, as much as people don't want to talk about it and are not allowed to talk about it, which should set off some alarm bells. If people are censoring information about an experimental vaccine, maybe you should think through it. But there is data out there. There's 183 athletes worldwide that have collapsed on the field. Some of it's vaccine related, definitely. Some of it we don't know, but most of these players have taken the vaccine. I mean, that's only a 10-fold increase of what it normally is. You've had 103 players worldwide die on the field, which is up 5 times more than normal of cardiac issues. So, and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of serious reactions from the vaccine. This is all documented. And as you said, if these players don't need it, why take it? If there's that risk out there, this is their job. This is their livelihood. So
yeah, and you know what, JP? Here's the thing, and what the NFL needs to do is make it perfectly clear to the players. Okay, we're asking you to take the vaccine, not for you, but to protect the other people in the building. And look at all the 32 owners. They're the most susceptible to getting this.
But they're vaccinated.
Because of their age.
But they're vaccinated.
And because of their medical history.
Leo, they're vaccinated.
Yeah.
If they're vaccinated, then they're these other players that are, first of all, every one of these players has natural immunity. Almost, I would think everybody's had it by now. Let's just be honest about that. If Tom Moore is vaccinated, Bruce Arians is vaccinated, these players have natural immunity. I mean, trust me, there's risk. There's much higher risk from Achilles injuries and other things for these coaches. I mean, this is just science, And
you know what, JP, what drives me a little bit nuts is all these media members that have come out and are basically condemning, Antonio Brown for starting the plague.
Yeah.
Again,
Come on, stop.
It didn't happen. You've got guys in peak condition. That probably the only people in better condition than these guys are the Rangers or the Seals. They with their body. They're not going to do anything stupid.
No.
And the problem is, a lot of them are looking at this going, this may be stupid.
Yeah. The data's out there, and if you don't need to take it, and nobody knows the long-term effects, nobody. And the early data is not good. Why do you think Pfizer is hiding all the data from their trials? because it went so well? Doubtful.
And you know what, JP? I'm old enough to remember when polio was around. And when they had the polio vaccine.
Yeah.
They tested that for almost 3 years on millions of children.
Yes.
Now, again, that was back 60 years ago, but still, they had a database.
Exactly.
If they had a database on this, then they knew what was coming, and that's a whole nother story for a whole other college.
Exactly. All right, my friend. Appreciate your time. Go get that practice notes. We'll be following you on Twitter and see what you got. Thanks, buddy.
Will do. Hey, are you going to Army Navy?
I am not going to Army Navy. Not going this year, unfortunately.
I'll send you a picture from the stadium. How's that?
Please do. Let me. We'll talk about it next week.
Take care, brother.
Appreciate it. The great Leo Haggerty there. All right. We will take a break. When we come back, we'll recap the breaking news regarding Florida State's athletic director position. I've got some new news on that. I will get some more new news in the break as well. We're going to hear from Gronk. We're going to hear from Mike Evans. We're going to hear from Bruce Arians. All kinds of good stuff coming your way. We'll do some lightning as well. Stay with us. Are you in the market for a refinance or looking for a new home? You got to call my man, Fitz the Mortgage Guy, Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. I have got literally a notebook here of testimonials on what a great job he's done for so many of our listeners. Scott saved me $1,200 up front. Scott paid for my appraisal. Scott got my PMI taken off. Scott helped me pay off my car. They didn't give him money, but he refinanced everything for these folks and showed them a great strategy to get rid of a lot of their debt. He's not just a mortgage broker. He's like a financial counselor, and he's passionate to get you the lowest rate and keep you from paying those upfront lender fees. You know those folks that say, we'll pay your closing costs? Well, then they come back and hit you with all these other fees. Folks, go to a local guy who's got a great reputation, been in the business for 20 years here, done 3,000 local mortgages. Scott Fitzgerald. Email him, scott@amstampa.com. That's scott@amstampa.com. Are you selling your home or refinancing? JP here for Greenleaf Title. You choose the title company, not the realtor, and it makes a difference. You want a reputable company that will make sure your title is safe and secure. There are a lot of scammers out there right now. So go with a trusted company like Greenleaf Title. Plus, they will close anywhere, folks, and they will send a limo to pick you up to come to the closing. Yep, the great JP Limo Closing is back. All you got to do is give them a call at 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. We'll set up the limo for you. They'll come pick you up. Heck, we even picked up one couple, took them to Black Rock Restaurant, one of our favorite advertisers, and then to the closing. That's how they do it at Greenleaf Title. Great service. We'll close anywhere. The lowest fees in the business. 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. That's greenleaftitle.com. Hey, did you start a new gig, a little side hustle during COVID? Well, if you don't have business insurance, you could be risking your personal fortune. That's how it works. JP here for Italiano Insurance. That's right. If you don't have business insurance, you can get sued and lose everything you've worked for. Not a good idea. Call the good folks at Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799. And if you have existing business insurance, shop it around. They could save you thousands of dollars as well. 813-877-7799. Who wants free mobile service? I do. And you can get 30 gigs a month from companies like AT&T Service, T-Mobile. Great service. Keep your number and get free mobile service. It's part of the emergency broadband benefit from the stimulus bill. 87% of America qualifies. So if you think you make too much money or whatever, just go to jpcares.info and find out. It'll take you a few minutes. jpcares.info to find out if you qualify for free cell service. Get it now before it's all used up. Cryptocurrency is all the rage today. The market cap for the industry is now over $1 trillion. And you read about people making millions of dollars, right? You want to get in, but have no idea what to do? Or maybe you dabbled a bit and you want to unlock the real money-making opportunities and don't know how to do it. There are over 10,000 tokens and thousands of decentralized finance exchanges to navigate. So what do? You go to DeFiLava.com. The folks at DeFiLava.com are in Tampa Bay, and they work with you directly to set up custom accounts, answer all your questions, and provide market analysis. Decentralized finance and cryptocurrencies are here to stay and will change the financial markets as we know them. Get in the game. Get with the experts at DeFiLava.com and tell them JP sent you and get their free 2022 crypto market forecast today at DeFiLava.com. Don't get left behind, folks. Make some money at DeFiLava.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back. The JP Peterson Show is presented by the law office of Chris Palermo. If you've had some defects in your new home with construction, that is his roundhouse, his wheelhouse for Christopher Palermo. You know, a lot of the builders these days, especially with supply chain problems, are taking shortcuts here and there. So when you move into your new home and like, this ain't right, that ain't right, and you got to resort to litigation, Christopher Palermo will fight for you. He is an absolute bulldog, and he'll give you a free consultation. So if you think there's some stuff that's some shenanigans going on with your home, or you've had a claim on your homeowner's insurance for storm damage, water intrusion, stucco is a big deal. If they don't use the right stucco or don't apply it correctly, you're going to get water damage within your home. That can turn into black mold, and then we're talking about big money. He has recovered millions and millions of dollars for his clients. So don't fight them yourself, folks. Get an attorney, and he will win for you, and certainly put pressure on the insurance company. They'll try and take advantage of you. So go to PalermoPA.com. That's PalermoPA.com, and have Christopher Palermo fight for you, just like he's fighting to keep the Rays here full time. 5-generation Tampanian, and he's a Jesuit graduate, very well known, very well respected, Christopher Palermo. All right, we got a lot of news breaking this morning, some stuff that we've been talking about and been in front of for the entire week, and that's the Florida State athletic director position. Vince Tyra, the University of Louisville athletic director, has turned down the job. At least that's what the reports are. My sources are telling me that the Seminoles were doing some more vetting after his name surfaced over the weekend as the leading candidate. There were reports that he was offered the job and he accepted the job. My sources tell me that's not exactly true, but whatever the case, hope Mr. Tyra goes on and does a great job at Louisville. He may be staying there because we learned this morning that the president at the University of Louisville, whom he had a very rocky relationship with, and I think from what I'm told, that's definitely a two-sided coin right there. He can now stay there with a new president, and they can head in a new direction, and I wish them the best. So let's hope it works out for Mr. Tyra. Let's hope it works out for Louisville. And I think this is a big deal for Florida State, folks. Nice man by all accounts. I have a good friend of mine who grew up with him. So for me to kind of go on the offense against him more for his lack of experience than anything else, folks, to be quite honest, it was tough. It was tough for me to do. But I felt like this was what I was being told by some very, very reputable people in the business who wanted to remain anonymous. That's the way these things work. So, and I trust these sources instantly, multiple sources, and the man just does not have the experience needed, and I think the resume needed for Florida State right now. We made that mistake with Willie Taggart. He just did not have the resume or the experience to handle that job, in my opinion, and that's what happened. I think this would have been a very similar situation. Not that they're bad men in any way, or they're bad coaches or bad ADs. I just don't think they have the experience necessary for a job like Florida State. And for Vince's sake, again, I hope he goes on and does well. But with the SEC expanding maybe even more, and Florida State has been rumored to possibly be in that mix, you got to have somebody that's extremely well connected, and he's not that guy.
And the other thing that I could think of with this is, keep in mind, Miami literally just announced they're hiring, Tadakovich,
Dan Radakovich, the best
from
in the
Clemson,
business,
one of the best in the business. You have to counter that, whatever way you look at it. And
yes.
you can use the old adage, well, if you worry about others, your own business is going to tank, whatever. That's not the way this kind of works, I think, in this scenario. In the state of Florida right now, where all three schools are equally, I think, at a footing at the moment, you got to keep up and one-up each other. You probably knew you weren't going to one-up what Miami did. They threw a lot of money at a guy that FSU probably was not going to throw money at. Well, I understand Should have. You never know. But if they go the way of the Alabama deputy, the name escapes me right now. We mentioned it in earlier. What was it?
Starts with a P.
Was it four?
I'll get it.
Yeah, get the name. But if they get a guy like that, just from coming from Alabama, he's been sitting under that tree. He's learned. He's done it in the SEC. That's a guy who I'd be very interested in. I don't know much about the booster offered. I know you probably know more than I do on that front. But from what I've heard, he's a popular candidate.
Very popular.
And that, to me, that's
what you want. He's been working there for a year now, and he's done, by all accounts, a tremendous job. And that guy, you've worked with him. You know who he is. You know how he works, how hard he works, what his results are. You didn't know anything like that from Vince, to be quite honest, unless you went and dug and did your due diligence like many of us did. And once his name surfaced, I think a lot of people did that. And, from sources told me, and I think even many Tallahassee outlets were reporting that deal was supposed to go down Monday. The 5-day cooling off period expired Monday at noon, and the deal wasn't done. And I know personally from my sources, multiple sources, that Florida State's Board of Trustees certainly got a lot of negative, when his name surfaced, a lot of negative feedback, not only from myself and what I've said on air, but from other people as well, from other boosters as well. So there was definitely some pushback, and Florida State pulled back. There's no question about that. And I think it was the best for all parties involved. I mean, if he stays at Louisville, the president is gone now, he has an opportunity to do the things that he really wants to do. So good for him. And I think for Florida State, they have an opportunity now to go get somebody who at least they know or is much better connected with these circles. I mean, what's the guy's name at Alabama?
Jeff
Parrington, yes, who has long-standing connections to FSU and has been in the hierarchy of Alabama for a long, long time. And he knows the SEC. He's well connected. Who better to usher yourself into a super conference, which will obviously have the SEC at its core. And Radakovich, trust me, Miami they're not stupid. They know if they go to a 32-team super conference, and there's a lot of talk about that happening, is Florida State in? Start doing the numbers. Are they in a 32-team? I don't know. It may come down to Miami or Florida State.
I think they're.
And if it comes down to Miami or Florida State, it's gonna be about connections. It's gonna be, and Radakovich is that guy. Radakovich is considered top 5 AD, if not the best AD in the land. He was at Georgia Tech with my friend Wayne Hogan, who wrote a very unbelievable. He worked with him for 9 years, and he knows Radakovich well. And he thinks he's the best in the business, and Wayne knows he's well connected. And now he goes to Miami. He's not going to Miami to oversee a small rebirth of that program. They're dumping huge cash into it. I think they're going to get their own stadium wherever they build it. Whether it's next to the Marlins Stadium or somewhere in Coral Gables. We had John Michaels on yesterday talking about that. That's where they're headed, and that's where they're going to be positioning themselves to move into this super conference. So this is a critical hire for FSU, and they got to get it right. And I just don't think Vince was the right guy at this particular time, but I wish him well. So I think Florida State dodged the bullet there. I'm just going to say that. All right. What other we were going to get to? Oh, the Lightning tonight are at Toronto. Riley Nash, I believe, will be making his debut tonight. I'm not sure if he's going to be in the lineup, but he was acquired from Winnipeg. And you're my man with all these advanced analytics here from our guy. What's his name? Jay Fresh Hockey?
Yes.
Tell me about why they got Riley Nash, Mr. Analytics, Jay Fresh guy.
Because when he's on the ice, nothing's happening.
I love the way he put it.
I love the way
nothing's happening for either team. Like, he's not scoring, but the other team ain't scoring either. He's a defensive forward.
Yeah, the Lightning need more defensive forwards in their group. They pride themselves on having that in their bottom six. That third line, think of Radish, Colton, and Kachuk, probably is more of an offensive threat than a defensive threat, than say. Corey Perry, same way, Pat Maroon. They don't really have that defensive glue guy anymore without a Blake Coleman in there. Or a pointer,
Yeah.
Yanni Gord. So you need more guys like that. He's not going to score anything. He's got nothing on his stat sheet at all right now. That tells you all you need to know. But as he pointed out here, nothing's going to happen, and that doesn't hurt your team whatsoever. If you don't notice he's out there, that means nothing. No goals against, no goals scored. You take it.
Look, right at this point right now, the Lightning are becoming a defensive hockey team because they don't have guys. They're guys that can finish.
And let's be honest here.
They have some, obviously they're winning, but not.
They're winning games, but a lot of these games they're stealing on the back of Vasilevsky
100%.
and the way they play in the last few minutes
Boston
of the game.
Montreal game.
Yeah, their defense has nothing been to write home about at all. So you need more guys like this. I think that's what is missing in their lineup. And the Lightning don't have the money to go out there and acquire guys this season like they did before. We don't have this secret luxury tax room anymore, LTIR,
Kucherov's
whatever.
coming back before the end of the season.
Yeah, we don't have that anymore. So when you get a guy
Poirier.
like this on waivers, you can bring in probably for the league minimum, you take it. You just need more bodies.
Yeah. And I think a lot of Lightning fans took that as a shot at the Lightning fans that nothing happens when he's on the ice. I mean, obviously coming to a new team, but this is what they got him for. Do you know what any of this stuff means there?
What, the little advanced statistics?
Yeah, any of that?
He's just not very good besides defense. Look at it.
It's basically a bunch of numbers that I have no idea what they mean.
It's percentile rate. So he's in the 3% percentile.
99% EV efficiency in defense.
Yes. So
3% efficiency on
he's as good as it gets in the league defensively. But he's on the low. He is as bad as it gets offensively. So that's all you need to know.
That's good stuff. All right, we mentioned the Rays situation, and there were a couple of quotes in the story yesterday. I wanted to get into a little bit deeper. Castor met with Rays yesterday. I had lunch over at American Social the other day, and I saw Matt. Did I talk about this on the air, or do I just talk about it off the air? Sometimes I
think you kind of alluded to it, and you didn't kind of.
So I'm sitting there having lunch at American Social with my lovely Tally the Wonder Dog and a lovely friend of mine, and I kind of peek around my shoulder, and there's Brian Ald and Matt Silverman. I didn't see Stu because it's Tampa Bay. Why would he be here? But I think they saw me, and they didn't even come over and say hi. How rude is that? I was gonna, they were kind of walking out as I caught a glimpse of them, but they didn't even come over and say hi. And I've known them for so long. You think they're mad at me?
Just a little bit,
Why?
You asked too good of a question at Cafe Con Tampa.
I swear
they weren't prepared for those.
I saw him doing an interview with someone. I don't even, and it wasn't like an outlet that I recognized at all that was put up on Twitter. I'm like, and she's asking about how would the stadium be constructed? Real hardball with concrete, by the way. Come on the show and let's do this. You want to sell it to somebody who has knowledge of what you're talking about and can debate you in an open forum on it. If you're so absent, I love Brian Ald and I love Matt. They're great people. Nothing personal against them at all. But it's the same thing with the Florida State situation. This is not personal. This is what I want. These are my teams. This is what I think is best for my teams. I've had a lot of experience covering these teams. I have a lot of experience in this market, in Florida State's market. So I talk to a lot of people, important people in these situations. I hear what they say and I relay it to you guys. I'm not the smartest guy in the room, trust me, but I listen to people and I know who to talk to, and I know and I trust these people. And this sister city plan is not for Tampa Bay. And all of these narratives that they're throwing out are false narratives, and I've debunked every single one of them. And it's not, this is common sense for the most part. And I just think they're selling something that is just not so much of it are false narratives. And what really got me yesterday is what Mayor Castor said about I'm trying to find the exact quote here, that she has not heard basically from the fan base anything negative about the sister city plan, no pushback, which I just think is completely tone deaf. Come on now. I mean, and I love the mayor. Don't always agree with her, but love the mayor. We've done charity events and, but this is something that is incumbent upon us. If she's not hearing it, well, she's going to hear it in the next few weeks. I guarantee you that. She's going to hear it from leading businessmen in our marketplace. She's going to hear it from the fan base. We don't want this sister city plan, and we should not be spending any public money. I don't care if it's bed tax money and not, quote, general fund money, which it's not going to be, but bed tax money, infrastructure money, anything for a stadium that's only going to be used half the time for baseball. If baseball revenue is way more than RV shows or high school baseball tournaments or college baseball tournaments or Christmas tree fairs or whatever the hell you want to put in there when they're not playing Major League Baseball. It doesn't bring in the same revenue. It doesn't have the same impact. So stop that BS. And you can put all those things in there. There are enough events anyway to fill it up. You just say, oh, we have more dates, we'll fill it up. No, it doesn't work that way. There's a finite amount of events that are going to come. So, this whole idea that we can use it for other things is great, but we can do that anyway in the off baseball season, the off full season. There's only 81 games. Do the math, folks. There's plenty of time to have other events there, and we will. But this half season thing, it diminishes your market. It diminishes your investment, certainly, because you're not gaining the same revenue the businesses around there. Are they going to have more revenue if there's 41 games or 81 games? Do the math. I mean, which is going to be better? Of course, having more games is going to bring in more revenue. And the whole idea that we can't sustain it here is completely a fabrication of Stu Sternberg. It has no basis in data whatsoever. Show me your proof. Oh, well, nobody shows up at Tropicana Field. Well, that's because it's the edge of the market surrounded by freaking water. And it's the worst stadium in the history of stadiums. I mean, do we need to keep going over this over and over? Again, false narrative. And so we aren't anybody, and that includes you, Mayor Castor, who keeps swallowing this BS that it's either half season or nothing, is full of it. The MLBPA is never going to approve this. If the Major League Baseball owners were going to give them the green light to do it, they would have done it at the owners' meeting. Why didn't they do it? Because it's not going to happen. The owners know that this is a crucial time for the negotiation, so let's just table it and say we have other things to do. You could have easily given him the go-ahead. You did not. There's a reason for it, because it's a negotiating ploy. So let's stand firm, Mayor Castor. Stand firm. I know Ken Hagan is. That he needs us as much as we need them. This is the 12th largest market. And if you don't want it, Stu Sternberg, somebody else will take it. Trust me on that.
And speaking of the mayor, nice comment here from Richie P. He said, and I think this kind of encapsulates it. Nice lady, but she has not had any cafe con leche at the West Tampa sandwich shop if she has not heard that from people.
Love it. Love it. Mayor, go to the West Tampa sandwich shop. Amazing sandwiches, by the way. If you haven't been there, you got to go. And sit down, have a cup of coffee, or just come hang out with me for a day. We'll go through Ybor City. We'll go over to West Shore, talk to some of my friends in the restaurant business. We'll head to South Tampa and Hyde Park and hang out at the meat market. And we'll go to down to Ybor to Santo Stefano down there where it's fantastic. God's Mart's place. I'll bring plenty of people that will push back on the sister city idea. We'll get you the information, Mayor. Just give me a couple weeks, and we will see plenty of action in this pushback category. I'm glad you mentioned it. I'm glad you said you haven't heard anything. Don't know what Ray's rock you've been living under, but there's plenty of pushback, Mayor. And we'll be happy to bring that to you. And I also, Mayor's come on the show multiple times. We'll have her on, and we'll muster up a lot of folks that will call in and make. I'm sure she's going to get a lot of feedback at the mayor's office in the next few weeks.
And as I've said multiple times on the show, and we've got into this, and you said it's a negotiation tactic, and this might be why. But why is this constantly being tabled? Why is this constantly being tabled?
At the major league level?
At the major league level, and even in the city level, like why it just seems like it's always being dodged. And I mean
the Sister City idea?
Yes, or even like the stadium issue in general.
Well, I think it's not dodged. I think I think that Ken Hagan, when he came on our show, he basically said that exact same thing. Is like, yeah, we're talking about the Sister City plan, but we're very focused on a full season plan.
That's what I want.
And I know as far as Ken Hagan is concerned, and he said it on our show, he's not interested in a half season. He's not interested in it.
And I just want to make sure, and maybe I'm off on this. I think I'm not. What's more important in this area right now, issue-wise, than the stadium?
Nothing.
But explain to me, but with the revenue that it would bring in and just having more fan excitement in the area, what else is more important in this area that cannot be prioritized?
It's $1 billion expenditure.
Yeah, I don't want to. When people, I hate that argument about taxpayers. It's just a baseball stadium. It's way more than just a baseball stadium. It's way more than just your little baseball team.
Well, and I think certainly Mayor Castor pushed back on that. There's a lot of economists, and I've heard this argument so many years. Academics are great. They have their role. I get it, but go talk to restaurant owners. And one of the big things academics will do and say about impact is that money would be spent other places in the county. And so calling it an economic impact where the stadium isn't exactly true. And there's some truth to that. There's no question. But when you're talking about fighting for dollars for county revenue, if you're pulling people from St. Petersburg or Pasco or Sarasota or Lakeland, well, that's just as, when you talk about county coffers, that's just as well as somebody coming from New York. Okay. Now I know those people would still come over maybe and spend some money, but you're giving them a reason to come 81 nights a year to a certain area. That is a game changer. And all you got to do is go look at Houston, go look at the National Stadium, go look at Coors Field in Colorado. I could go on and on and on. These are blighted areas. I've been there. I did a story on this in North Carolina many, many years ago when I was up there. We did a whole series on it. We won a Murrow Award for that series, and we went to Tropicana Field and saw what a dump that was. And we saw where these other places, Tropicana Field's one of the few places, and even Tropicana Field, say what you want, but over the last 15, 20 years, look at downtown St. Petersburg. Look at now that there's a lot of other factors that go into that. I get it. But just look at downtown St. Petersburg and how that is exploded, not necessarily right around the park area, but certainly in downtown St. Petersburg. It's kind of put St. Pete on the map.
It's got its own identity.
Yeah.
I told you I went down there for the first time a couple months ago.
Fantastic.
And I was blown away. I went out to some of the bars. I went out to the pier, and I saw the same thing. I'm like, the Rays, this is not the identity of baseball.
No.
It's really not at all.
It's the Rowdies.
Yeah,
I think that Rowdies thing works really well.
Oh, it does. I mean, they were doing their whole run here, and you had when you did the Rays players out there, and you had packed everything.
Great atmosphere.
It's a great atmosphere, but it's not a baseball town in any way at all.
It's just a bad location for baseball. I mean, for anything else, it can be great, but for baseball, it's not good because you have to have 1.6 million people within a 30-minute drive. This is a formula that baseball has used for decades on stadiums. And they know it's based on a crap ton of data, unlike the Sister City plan. That you got to have an urban setting, and it's got to be in the middle of the market for these midweek games to draw, because there's so many games and so many games in a row. It's a demographic thing, it's a geographic thing, and that's why it has to be in the middle of the market. And that's why when you say people haven't shown up and we're winning, that argument doesn't hold water, because it's like having a restaurant with great food out at the edge of the market. Yeah, people are going to go once in a while, but if you're counting on people going every day, it's not going to happen. No one would do that. So look, this has been going down. I've said this for a decade. Follow the money. Follow the money. Where's it going to work best? Where has it worked in other places? No one's ever done a sister city plan. The baseball is based on emotion and the connection to your team. If you abandon your market for half the season, you will lose your fan base. If you move to a market for half a season, you will not capture a fan base. There's too many things for people to do. There's too much competition these days. You got to be all in. And if we spend money for half a season, it's going to be a disaster. We're going to be the joke of the nation. So Mayor Castor, I am pleading with you. You do not have to listen to these false narratives that the Rays are selling. Have a backbone. Stand up and say, we are Tampa Bay. We are a big enough market to support a baseball team. Look at the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Rays want to sell you there's no corporate support. How is the Lightning able to do it? It's hockey, for God's sakes. Nobody grew up playing hockey here. We all grew up playing baseball. The Rays did it because they have a great venue. They have a great owner. They have a great organization. They win, and they put the fans first. The Rays have done none of that. Zero. You follow that formula, you will have success. We are not a second-class market. We are Tampa Bay. We are freaking Champa Bay. And we do not need a half season. We're not spending $700, $800, $900 million on a freaking stadium for 40 Major League Baseball games. We don't have to do that. So tell Stu Sternberg, if you want to be in this market and you want to have a beautiful stadium in Ybor City with an exploding population base, especially to the east of Tampa, not to the west. Sorry, Dolphins and Grouper don't go to baseball games. Then you put your ass in Ybor City, like you said we're going to do in 2018. You said it was a great market. You said it was a great design. You said it was a great location until you were asked to pay for half. Now you say you're going to pay for half. Let's get the effing deal done and stop all the foolishness. This sister city BS. Montreal doesn't want half a season. We don't want half a season. All right, here's my Christmas present. Let's get it done. How's that? You want to sound off at FanStream JP, and we'll take your comments and put them on the air, like our friend Ricky P.
Yeah, absolutely. Richie P. And he keeps going here. He's definitely very passionate. We love to hear it. Keep coming with the comments and anything. If you disagree, agree, let us know. If you disagree, I'd want to hear your point of view on this.
I'll debate it with anybody, respectfully.
Because most of us are 100% in agreement. But if you disagree, if you actually want the sister city, please come forward.
And folks, it is time. It is done. You know, the mayor says she hasn't heard pushback. It's time to hear the pushback. It's time for you to voice your opinion. And I'm gonna try to get the numbers here to give out to get to the mayor's office, the email, and everything you need to make sure that she gets the pushback. And we're gonna have some other things that we're going to put together with some local leaders. We're already working on that to make sure that she knows that the sister city plan is not acceptable.
Yeah, and
not a good political move, Mayor.
Absolutely,
don't do it.
And we'll cut this out later today. And
we love you, Mayor. Do not do that. Yeah. Trust me, you will not get reelected if you knuckle under the sister city plan. That's going to be a bad thing for you. I'm trying to help you here. Help me help you, Mayor. Come on the show. We'll give you the pushback you need.
And we'll cut this up. We'll have this up there. Stand by on Twitter and YouTube and all that good stuff later. So you can go back and refer to your nice little rant you did there.
There we go.
So
I love
there
it.
You go.
Those are getting a lot of views. It's good. All right, quick break. When we come back, we're going to hit the Bucks. We're going to hear from Gronk. We're going to hear from Evans. We're going to hear from Bruce Arians. So stay with us.
Are you in the market for a refinance or looking for a new home? You got to call my man, Fitz the Mortgage Guy, Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. I have got literally a notebook here of testimonials on what a great job he's done for so many of our listeners. Scott saved me $1,200 up front. Scott paid for my appraisal. Scott got my PMI taken off. Scott helped me pay off my car. They didn't give him money, but he refinanced everything for these folks and showed them a great strategy to get rid of a lot of their debt. He's not just a mortgage broker. He's like a financial counselor, and he's passionate to get you the lowest rate and keep you from paying those upfront lender fees. You know those folks that say, we'll pay your closing costs? Well, then they come back and hit you with all these other fees. Folks, go to a local guy who's got a great reputation, been in the business for 20 years here, done 3,000 local mortgages. Scott Fitzgerald. Email him, Scott@amstampa.com. That's Scott@amstampa.com. Hey, JP here for the Black Rock Bar and Grill, and they got a new menu out, Johnny. This is unbelievable. Some incredible burger creations. Here's my new favorite, mac and cheese burger. Half pound of certified Angus beef, American cheese, bacon, finished with our macaroni and cheese. Are you kidding me? Or a nacho burger with fried jalapenos, grilled onions. They got a ghost pepper chipotle burger. That's hot. Or the Fat Elvis burger. I mean, there's so many good burgers on this thing. It's amazing. What do you like?
I've been taking a look at the seafood section of this summer menu. 8 jumbo shrimp. Unbelievable, man. It goes perfectly with their burgundy mushrooms.
Oh, I love the mushrooms.
It's delicious.
So good. Of course, you get the steak on a 755-degree stone. You cook it right there in the garlic butter, the casino butter. It's fillets. You can do your shrimp on it, your chicken. It's unlike any other place. It's the Black Rock Bar and Grill. You got to go. It's a new menu. Tell them JP sent you. Brandon and Carrollwood. Get to the Black Rock. Who wants free mobile service? I do. And you can get 30 gigs a month from companies like AT&T Service, T-Mobile. Great service. Keep your number and get free mobile service. It's part of the emergency broadband benefit from the stimulus bill. 87% of America qualifies. So if you think you make too much money or whatever, just go to jpcares.info and find out. It'll take you a few minutes. jpcares.info to find out if you qualify for free cell service. Get it now before it's all used up.
JP, Santa, and young St. Nick. Get us right over here. My partner for the Gold and Diamond Source. You hear that? Christmas music. It's Christmas time. You just popped a question to your lady from the Gold and Diamond Source diamond that you got.
Yes, I did. The Gold and Diamond Source, the best place to go get your diamond for an engagement. They helped me out so much. They were so courteous to me for somebody who was so nervous. And it's Christmas time, like you said. If you're thinking about popping the question, you need to go to the Gold and Diamond Source.
It's the Jewelry Supercenter, fully stocked, fully staffed, and yes, just a short drive from downtown Tampa or wherever you're coming from, right there on Ulmerton Road. Avoid the madness at the malls. And whether you're a first-time buyer or looking for that 10-carat custom design, they have it all. 9 jewelers in-house ready to make your dreams come true. Even layaways, 100% interest-free financing up to 5 years. Shop now for your best selection at the Gold and Diamond Source and make your lady wonderfully happy like Nick did. That's absolutely. Shop anytime online at thegoldanddiamond.com.
Are you selling your home or refinancing? JP here for Greenleaf Title. You choose the title company, not the realtor, and it makes a difference. You want a reputable company that will make sure your title is safe and secure. There are a lot of scammers out there right now. So go with a trusted company like Greenleaf Title. Plus, they will close anywhere, folks, and they will send a limo to pick you up to come to the closing. Yep, the great JP Limo Closing is back. All you got to do is give them a call at 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. We'll set up the limo for you. They'll come pick you up. Heck, we even picked up one couple, took them to Black Rock Restaurant, one of our favorite advertisers, and then to the closing. That's how they do it at Greenleaf Title. Great service. We'll close anywhere. The lowest fees in the business. 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. That's greenleaftitle.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, presented by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. He's the guy behind those ads about how we hate the sister city plan. So evidently we have to send a couple of those over to Mayor Castor. Make sure she knows we're pushing back. All right. By the way, if you ever want to interact with the show, we're live on YouTube. We have Richie P, chatting with us on YouTube. Did he say anything else that we need to? So I like to give them a shout out. If they're going to put stuff up there, we're going to shout you out.
He's been going on here about St. Pete, saying, it's a beat. The beaches make up the identity of St. Pete in the downtown area. And
yeah.
Baseball does not.
They don't need baseball.
So
they turned that thing into a convention center. Tropicana field site and all the great renderings that I've seen and the things they're going to do there, that's going to be so much more impactful economically than baseball is there. I mean, wow. And they have the Grand Prix, they have the Rowdies, and I don't like just if we build a stadium, the Rowdies will come over here as well, which I honestly don't like, because unless if they go to Major League Soccer, then they need a bigger stadium. But where they are right now in the league that they're competing in is perfect. I mean, and that won't happen for another 4 or 5 years anyway. So, but I think downtown St. Pete, that pier is tremendous. Boy, it's a long walk out there, by the way. Whew. Take the trolley.
You need a scooter, man.
You do need a scooter, man. I walked all the way out there like I don't know what, this is about 2 months ago. It was hot. All right, the Bucs got the Bills coming up this weekend, and their number 2 ranked defense that can't stop the run, by the way, even when they know it's coming, clearly. And it'll be interesting to see how the Buccaneers attack this Buffalo defense, having been softened up by the Patriots running attack this past week. I tell you what, this is a great spot for the Bucs. You know, I was looking at the schedule and all the things that have kind of happened for the Bucs this year. And, you know, Nick, it's very similar to last year. Things are really falling their way when you think about it. Like Buffalo coming off a Monday night game in, 25-degree wind chill temperatures, getting physically beaten down by the Patriots, having a short week, having to travel to Tampa, where I don't think it's going to be hot down here. It'll be hot for them. It'll be hot for them. For us, it's going to be perfect weather, but it's going to be hot for them. And you got a defense that's starting to get healthy with Carlton Davis III coming back. Richard Sherman moving to safety, I think, is a nice little nifty thing, like Rondé did late in his career. A guy that has tremendous instincts, a guy that is a ball hawk, great ball skills. I think that's a great thing for the Bucs to be able to kind of have that flexibility. They're getting healthy at the right time. You look at the Packers are starting to get some guys back as well, but Aaron Rodgers still has a broken toe. I know he's playing pretty good on it, and their schedule, the Packers schedule, the Cardinals schedule, they got the Rams this week who they beat earlier in the year, and they ran all over the Rams. So that game in Arizona, which by the way, are they losing a neighbor there? The Coyotes
might be coming pretty soon.
We told you earlier this year the Coyotes are going to get kicked out of their building. They owe $250 million in taxes locally there. How do you not pay $250 million in taxes? Wow. So if they don't make that payment, they're not going to be allowed to play. How does that work?
I don't understand. I don't even know much about it. I just saw that report that they were get kicked out on December 20th and they have all that money to spend.
Wow.
I mean, where are they going to go?
Quebec. They have that empty arena, right?
Can they go there this year? Can we, right after the Olympic break, can they just migrate up there?
They're vaccinated. By the way, with all these, if the government's coming down on NBA players that have to be vaccinated, what's up with?
Well, I believe the NHL is a little different. There's only one player in the NHL that I believe is unvaccinated.
Oh, well, then there you go.
So I think it's a non-issue.
Good. So the Bucs will have the Bills coming here, $425 on Sunday. Tough ticket, by the way. Very, very tough ticket. And let's hear from Gronk, shall we? The Gronkster talked yesterday, and it's been a big week for him, handing out awards to Brady for the Sportsman of the Year award. And he was asked about how his connection with Brady developed over the years. The new question.
A while. I mean, it wasn't like I walked in and I was a rookie and we had it down. I would say about a year. I mean, he saw the potential. I saw, what page I could be on. And, at the beginning, we were up and down. I mean, it was basically kind of like I was up and down because he knew what he wanted out of me. And I didn't, totally understand everything. So I would say about a year, by the end of my rookie year, we had that connection going. And then we followed up with it big time in the off season after my first year. And then from there on out, from my second year in the league, we were kind of on the same page from there on out. I mean, and just working on it, year in and year out.
That's how it works. And if you've ever studied what championship teams are made of, one of the hallmarks of those teams are the attention to detail. And something that Derek Brooks used to talk a lot about, and Brady talks a lot about. And if you talk to, the greats that have played any game, it's something that they take to a literal psychotic level because it's a difference maker. It's a difference maker to crunch. And here's Gronk kind of verbalizing how Brady and he and this team as a culture pays attention to detail.
Yes, exactly. The attention to detail is what, I really didn't focus on. I was kind of a guy, coming into the league, like, oh, just throw me the ball. I'm running, I'm open. But I really didn't pay attention to the details, I would say. And just, after my rookie year, I started noticing that, realize that. And still to this day, details are super important.
They matter. Your head movement, your how you come in and out of breaks, where you put your hands, when you put your hands up. because the defender is waiting for you to put your hands up to make a play because they're not looking at the quarterback. There's so many little nuances that make these guys the best of the best. Gronk also talked about this game and some of the others that they played having a playoff atmosphere.
I do feel that intensity for sure. I mean, we got a playoff team coming in into our house. There's going to be a lot of pressure on the line, but like any other week, we got to prepare like any other week. But they're a good team. They got a winning record. They got a lot of playmakers. They got a lot of good players on the defensive side of the ball. So it's going to be a pretty intense atmosphere. I would say it's going to be more of like another playoff atmosphere.
Tell you what, that Giants game the other night that we were at, that had the feel.
Yes,
even though but the Giants aren't a playoff team, obviously. So this gets ramped up. That place was packed though for Monday Night Football. It was tremendous. And that atmosphere is going to be here with a playoff team coming in, the Buffalo Bills. The Bills Mafia is going to be here. Welcome to town. Bring your, folding tables and whatever the hell you got to bring. I might have to go early just to witness some of that stuff. I don't know, just cruise around the parking lot. Like I want to see somebody jump on a table. I want to see this with my own eyes. But Gronk grew up a Buffalo fan. I forgot about that. Growing up, Gronk is right there in Buffalo. All the Bills fan. I mean, he kind of doesn't he personify a guy from Buffalo? Doesn't he really?
100%.
It's just 100%. Just a lunkhead, badass. I love it. Here's him talking about growing up a Bills fan.
Definitely. The Bills do mean a lot to my family and I. I mean, we grew up in Buffalo, 25 minutes from the stadium. I was a big Bills fan growing up. The Takeo Spikes, Eric Moulds, the Jim Kelly era. And whenever I was in the backyard playing football with my friends, with my brothers and I, you line up out wide. You're always pretending you were, the receiver that they had. If I was Moulds, that was always my favorite player. Or if you make a stop or a big hit, you're acting like you're Takeo Spikes. So, the history of the Buffalo Bills just goes way back with my family and I, from just playing in the backyard to watching the games.
Those are some names a lot of people don't know.
I know them all. I know
you do?
them all.
Oh, impressive. I go back to the early AFC East days when the Dolphins were in the division with the Buffalo Bills. So I'd go to the Orange Bowl and you know who I saw?
Oh,
the Juice.
Please let us know.
The Juice. Jay Simpson would come in with they used to call him the Electric Company. And he was the Juice for the Electric Company. The Electric Company was his offensive line, Joe DeLamielleure, and a bunch of Hall of Famers up front. And the Juice would come in and with his double bar face mask and run for 250 yards on the Dolphins. Joe Ferguson would throw 6 passes. Greasy would throw 9 and run the Zonka and kick in Mercury Morris on the AstroTurf of the Orange Bowl.
Ask you this.
Hot dog wrappers blowing everywhere. It's fantastic.
I got to ask you this, since you were old enough to remember this stuff. Did you ever think for 1 second back in the 70s, you're watching football, everybody's just running, hardly anybody's throwing? Did you ever think, why don't they throw it more?
Nah, not really.
Was it really more entertaining to see them just run the ball like that?
Football was just different. Like it was smash mouth. Like you could hit people. Like you came to watch people collide and get the shit kicked out of them. I mean, it's kind of what we did.
So there wouldn't be any fake slides from the quarterback or anything like that.
Fake slide. That's a good one. No, if somebody slid, like people would be like, "You pansy, what are you doing?"
Did they even have penalties? Seriously. I mean, the quarterback still wear a red jersey in practice. Any of that?
They want to talk about like Deacon Jones had this many sacks. Well, if the lineman had to block like this, if you're watching on YouTube, you couldn't even use your hands outside of your body. You had to block like this. Got offensive linemen were going like this, like putting their elbows out. Like you ever see the old electric football games?
Yes.
And an offensive lineman have their hands like this. I'm putting my elbows up on my shoulders and sticking them out, and that's that's actually how they blocked back in the 70s. They couldn't even use their hands. I could have sacked the quarterback. Are you kidding me?
So what did y'all call it then? If it wasn't a sack, what is it? Oh, he just brought the quarterback down?
Well, but in the 70s, it was a sack. It was a sack, but it wasn't an official stat until 75 or something. So, but
fascinating.
How the rules have changed is amazing. And I used to go down on that Orange Bowl turf that is called polyturf. It was about a 1/4 inch thick. That's it. And underneath it was concrete. Dude, that stuff was and it would be about 30 degrees hotter than regular grass. I mean, you talk about people want to talk about the 17-0 team of the 72. The fact that those people survived 14 games on that shiz or whatever, how many other they played. I mean, it was brutal.
And that team went all the way, right? Super Bowl and everything.
Yeah, 17-0.
I bring that up because I don't know if you've had a chance to watch The Man in the Arena yet.
No,
but they just released the last episode 4.
I'm glad you're getting use out of my ESPN Plus.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for that. I watch UCF My Time this already. It's great. But
I need more time to do this stuff.
But I watched episode.
I'm too busy like doing stories and stuff and
doing actual work.
Yeah,
my goodness.
Yeah.
But anyway, I watched Man of the Year episode 4 or Man in the Arena rather, episode 4 yesterday, and it tells you the entire Patriots 2017 when they were going undefeated. And to me, it's my favorite episode, and it really kind of shows how hard it is to go undefeated,
it's
man.
Ridiculous. It's ridiculous in this league.
The best quote Randy Moss said is like, "I hope I'm still alive to see a team do it," but he thinks it's like impossible.
With a 17-game season now?
Yeah.
Never.
He says it's like impossible.
Never. Like we were joking around with 20-0 earlier this year. It's never going to happen. No. You know, it's impossible. It's just, I mean, look at how the Bucs lost that game against Washington. Would they have 12 penalties or?
It was ugly.
Yeah, and they couldn't get off the field on 3rd down. It's just like, you know, every team is talented, and just a few things don't go your way. Anybody can beat anybody in this league. You know, a couple of turnovers here and there, some balls that bounce off guys' hands, and you're going to lose a football game. That's just the way it is in this league. It's just nobody's that will now with 17 games. The Dolphins can pop champagne every after game 1. It ain't never going to happen. No way. It's impossible. There's too much attrition. No way. Let's get to Mike Evans. He was the Walter Payton Man of the Year for the Buccaneers. Now he'll be nominated for the national award. He hasn't won the national award, right? No, he won the Buccaneers award last year. We've been glossing him for 2 weeks. It seems like just because it's his time. This guy has just become such an unbelievable role model, such a great human being, great dad, philanthropic. He's just the best of the best, non-diva, incredible player, Hall of Famer. I just can't speak enough about how good a man this guy is, and he's so deserving. And here's Mike Evans talking about that award that he was given by Gronk.
It means a lot, just having those guys respect. And, been blessed by, so many great people in my life. Just being blessed to be in this position. I mean, the award is great, but it's just who I am, and it's cool to be rewarded for just being yourself.
Yeah, humility on display right there. What a dude! What a dude! And what a player! He's also asked about the responsibility, Charles Barkley, of being a role model.
It's been great. Like you said, I've always wanted to do this. It's been a big dream of mine. And, I'm blessed to live out my dream and not just be an athlete, but to be a role model and be someone that can help and be a beacon of hope for my city. So it's a blessing, and I don't take it for granted at all.
And the more he makes, the more he gives away, not only here, but in his hometown of Galveston. And he's obviously had some tragic effects of domestic abuse. It's one of the things that he really focuses on in his philanthropic work, and that's nothing short of saving lives. I can't say enough about that young man. And I can't say enough about all the Buccaneers and the professional athletes in this town that just go way over the top in their help of our community. And it should never be taken for granted, ever. It's one of the reasons you want to keep your baseball team here. Even though the Rays aren't the most philanthropic in the world, but the players are always out there doing things, obviously organized by the Rays. They do things not like the Lightning or the Bucks do, but Mike Evans, tremendous. All these guys do a tremendous job. And the thing that I asked Bruce earlier in the week is it's kind of the unspoken thing that you're not allowed to talk about, but it's real. It's the number one thing that they have to be focused on right now. And that's, every game you got to win them all. You got to win this week. And that's what we're talking about.
Hey, Bruce, I know it's always about the next game, but how much are you guys thinking about running the table and how important that home field advantage is going to be this year in that number one seed vis-a-vis the difference between playing in an NFC championship game in Lambeau Field in late January and the comfy confines of Raymond James?
Yeah, I mean, we don't really talk about it. It's if you start thinking about January, you're going to get your ass beaten. You'll be playing on the road for sure. So it's just take care of every day's business. Only thing we can do is take care of Wednesday's practice and Wednesday's meetings, and one day at a time, and we'll add them all up at the end. Everybody knows how important that is. We're sitting at the 3 seed right now, and each win, each game really matters.
Step by step, and they know. Tom Brady knows. You just look at the numbers. When he's the number 1 seed, I think when he's the number 1 seed, he's won the Super Bowl 7 out of 8 times. The only 207, their undefeated season, was the only time he didn't. Right. So yeah, it's important, and I don't think it's ever more important, because think about it. Say the NFC Championship was going to be in Arizona. That doesn't bother me. You're indoors.
It's been a house of horrors for the Bucs historically.
Yeah, bad teams. Yeah, it would. Yeah, so I don't worry. I don't put a lot of stock in that stuff. Historically, the Bucs.
As a fan, I do.
Their record in Arizona is X. And it's like, well, that was with Jameis Winston quarterbacking, and no, this is a different team. So no, but seriously, if it's a difference between Lambeau and Raymond James, that's the winning edge. I don't care what you say. Whoever the home team is there is going to win. Those teams I think are so close, and the home field advantage is so dramatic that it's a difference. All right, great day. Good job, Nick Geddes. As usual, my friends, thank you guys for chiming in. Remember, we're on YouTube now. Just Google us. Go on YouTube and Google the JP Peterson Show. Please subscribe, and you can watch us there anytime. Replay, whatever. Download the app. You can listen to us in the car on your Bluetooth anytime. Just tap that app. The show will start right up for you at lunchtime. Later on, weekends, whatever you want to do. Our thanks to Matt Thompson from Jesuit, who joined us today, Chris Torello, Leo Haggerty. Always great guests, always great information. We got you we had you the scoop on the Vince Tyra thing, and I hope the mayor was listening. We'll hope to have her on the show. Have a great day, everybody.